Hey everyone and welcome to the Fredo Pack Show. Today joining me is Stefan Mauros, our senior gameplay programmer and lead integrator. He will show me the whole pack, Fredo Pack, with all the things in there, new gameplay, new features. And before we get into all of this, we will have a giveaway, so just check out the description. There you will find a link to a Fredo key giveaway. Join there over the link and have the opportunity to win one Fredo key for your platform. We will contact you until Monday before the Fredo pack releases on the 24th of March. And yeah, you will have the chance to win a key and enter the giveaway. Before we get started, Stefan, what was it like working on the Fredo pack? Maybe give us some insight, something that happened when working on it. What was important for you to bring this into the game?
Yeah, so the Fredo pack was a bit more of a challenge compared to some other DLCs maybe, because we got a lot of new gameplay functionality with the vehicles. We got the overseeding, of course. That was also a challenge to integrate into the game nicely, that it looks also nice. But I also do like the vehicles quite a lot. I like the big slurry tankers.
And we will see everything of this like in a few minutes.
Yeah,
we'll go through everything you will get in the pack, all features, all stuff. And Stefan, I think we can have a look into the features, the gameplay. What have you brought us?
Yeah, let's jump into it directly. So I prepared here a grass field with the overseeders. Yeah, but first I want to tell you something about Fredo in general. So Fredo is a Dutch company. Some of you might know this already, but they started actually as a farming contractor. So it was back in the 50s, so quite some time ago. And over the time, they got some tools from other manufacturers, but they did not really suit their conditions they had on the field. So they started to modify those tools and vehicles over the time. And like this, they developed more from the contractor in a manufacturer of farming vehicles as we know them today.
Sounds pretty different compared to other companies, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Their first tool, so it was in 1976, actually, was an overseeder. So the overseeders that we show you now directly as the first feature. And they're really famous for their discs they have. So they got like some vertical cutting discs. So they cut nicely into the grass and put the seeds into that. And they got also like a similar technology for the slurry injectors, which I will show you later on as well. So they also cut nicely into the ground and then put the slurry into the ground and close it again. So this is a quite nice way to do that. And they're really famous for that technology.
Cool.
Let's start with the overseeding. So
this is definitely a new thing. So it's a new gameplay feature, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's a lot of people will say it's more a hardcore feature, I would say, but I really like to see that we get more in-depth agriculture when it comes to like the whole grass yield style farming and so on.
Yeah. We can see here on the field that I prepared, it does not look like a regular grass field. There are some patches of grass that are missing, and that was that developed over time. So if you're just using the grassland, if you cut the grass, if you use the tether, if you use the windrower, if you use the forage wagon, if you drive on the field, maybe if it's wet conditioned and so on. Also in reality, you get damage on the grass, so it would not always be perfect, and you might get some patches of grassland where no grass is growing anymore. And that's what we've added here as well. So you can here see some areas of the field which got a bit less dense grass. Here also some dirt that's spawned. And that developed over the time. So actually, like this field here is like after 9 harvests. So if you do 3 harvests a year, that is the result after 3 years. And you have, due to that, due to the missing spots of grass, you got less yield. So it's about 5% less after 3 years. And that's, when it makes sense to use the overseeders.
Okay, so but first of all, for everyone that don't want to play like with this penalty of having like spots on the grassland, it's something you can toggle on and off.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Yeah, that's important for basically all of the features we got in the game. So we've added also a setting where you can turn it off, and also the board damage that I will show you
Okay.
later on. That can also be deactivated just in the menu, and then you don't have that.
Sounds
Yeah.
pretty good. Cool.
Yeah, but if you want to play realistically, so that's
I
yeah,
think there are a lot of fans out there that really want to play this feature.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. And then you got the overseeders. So it's called overseeding because you seed directly into the existing grassland. If you would reseed the field, that would completely. So if you plow it and seed it completely from scratch, but that's like overseeders. They seed into the existing grassland, and then we can just lower our overseeders. Our overseeder here at the back and can drive on the field. And you can see at the back, gets a bit darker, the grass is a bit flatter, so it looks like the rolled grass. And also the patches that were missing will be added then again. So after the next growth stage, or in the next month, the grass looks then clean again, you get the full yield again. So this makes then sense to do it after 3 years from the
Cool.
yes. And we got 3 different overseeders. So the main difference is basically the width of them. So we got, this is the biggest one, the Agri Air Twin. So we got like 6 meters of width roughly. And we got the 2 smaller ones here that are both in 3-meter versions. But they look also a bit different. So they use kind of different technology here. So we got the 2 air seeders, so the bigger one and the smaller one. They use basically air to put the seeds into the ground, so which is a bit more precise than the regular seeders. From the gameplay side, in our game, it doesn't make that difference, but we just wanted to have some variation there. And this is like the simplest version, the cheapest version, which just works like a mechanical seeder.
Yeah.
So you get here this wheel at the side, which then controls how much seeds it puts in the air.
Maybe just a question for everyone that is not on the same page right now. What is like the difference between overseeding and just use a new seeding machine?
Yeah, the overseeding is way simpler. You save a lot of money because you don't need to plow first and then seed it again. So you seed directly into the existing grassland, which makes it cheaper. And
Alright.
also better for the environment because the plowing takes a lot of power of the tractor to cultivate the whole
Makes
field
sense.
again, and so it's way better with the overseeders. And those seeders especially are really precise because they cut into the ground and put the seeds directly into the ground. There are some other technologies of overseeding that just put the seeds on the top and put them with some weeders into the ground, but they were proven to be like, I think, the best result. They're also, from the working with, they're not that wide and quite heavy compared to others, but they deliver kind of the best result. We got also some visual configurations of the roll at the back. I think here is like the flat roll at the back, and here you got also the flat roll, but the other one had a different roll, so you got some visual configurations there as well. Yeah.
Cool. What's next?
Yeah, that's it with the overseeders.
Maybe we make it like this time that I ask the questions when it's part of overseeding. So one person asked, how does this boost your yields in game? So how many percentage maybe, or like where's the difference? I mean, you've already mentioned like the 3 years or 6 years, sorry.
Yeah, 3 years, 9 harvests or 9 times cutting the grass. But it's not actually boosting the yield. It's more like reducing the yield if you don't do it, because you get some patches that are missing. So you get less yield if you don't do it, and you get the full yield again if you reseed again.
All right.
That's like the functionality.
And another question regarding like the overseeding feature was, let me look it up. Does this only apply to the fruit type grass, or can it also be used on mod maps for other types of grassland? Like they use meadow clover, alfalfa.
Currently it only applies for grass, I think. I would need to check the code actually. But it's on my to-do list to check it that it works also for the other fruit types that mod maps implemented.
Cool.
But it might, with the released version, the first version might only work with the base game grass. But I will check that actually, yeah.
That's community management here. So, yeah, let's have a look into this if it's not already in. And yeah, let's look up more stuff of the Fredo pack. What have you brought here?
Yeah, I brought a nice cannon, but that's not part of the DLC. That was from the Highland pack. But I got here a cornfield that looks, yeah, pretty standard from the outside. Nothing special about it. But we got there also some damage. So if I go to the construction screen, you see it quite nicely from the top. We got here some damage in the cornfield. So this damage actually was caused by boars.
By boars?
By wild boars, yes.
Oh.
And that's another new gameplay feature we add now with the Fredo pack. It's not directly related to the Fredo pack or the vehicles. But we still wanted to add more gameplay functionality, and this was kind of a nice way because we got the damage on the grassland, and then we got also the damage from the boar, so it was kind of a good fit for that.
I think a lot of people asked for more gameplay features when the packs come out, and this is what we brought you. And I think it's cool, but as you've mentioned, this is like a cornfield, so they damage like every field.
They pretty much damage every field because they like quite a lot of stuff. And yeah, I looked it up in the internet and it's yeah, they pretty much eat all the stuff. So, but yeah, mainly corn. That's
also an option to toggle on and off, right?
Yes, of course.
And it's I think someone asked, is it related to like toggle it off with hail and the twisters, or is it like a separate function?
No, it's like a separate setting. So you can individually choose what you want to have, what you don't want to have. But this looks also quite nice. Yeah,
I
but
really
it
like
still reduces your yield. But
I mean, it's something that when it comes to like gameplay that goes more in deep and like you have more functions, you have more penalties, like the whole game feels like more alive, and you have some results from like the whole environment. And I think that's what a lot of people are asking for, that there are more things you have to manage, and the boar damage is something of this.
Yeah, exactly. But there's also another way to get rid of the boar damage. You can disable just the setting. That's a simple way. But there's also a more realistic way, I would say. So normally in reality, there are ways to get rid of the boars, which we cannot implement in the game because of our age rating, of course.
Yeah.
But we got a different way here. So I prepared here a wildlife feeder. So you're not feeding the boars directly because that's illegal in most of the countries, actually. But you're feeding like the other wild animals, so like deers and that stuff. Mainly for the winter. So it makes in reality sense to feed them in the winter when they cannot find that much food normally, because it's covered with snow, the fields and all that stuff. So you can feed the deers and that stuff, and you help with that action the forester in the game. So then the forester will take care of the boars or will help you to reduce the damage. How he does that, we don't know. But that's like a good way to help the forester actually to do his work. And there's also there are missions that spawn with the wildlife feeders.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so normally in October and November you can place them. If you already placed some, you get missions to fill them up again. And like this, you get reminded
which
of that.
crops you can fill the whole thing?
You fill it with hay, I think, only.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that makes the most sense for that. And it's like a yearly job you have to do, and then you don't have that much of boar damage.
Is there like a percentage how much you can reduce it, and how many placeables do you need around your fields?
I think you
need
need like 5. That's also in the missions. You have to place 5, and you have to refill those 5 at least.
5 over the whole map, and then it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to place them next to forests or trees where wild animals normally live. So you cannot place it in the city. That makes not that much sense. But then they will find the food. Yeah.
And to the boars, there's another question. Will there be any notifications when boars spawn? I don't think so.
No,
Because,
no, you never know.
yeah, I mean, they are just part of the whole wildlife,
Yeah.
and they come and destroy your field when they want.
Yeah,
And there's
exactly.
no like
Yeah,
notification, oh, now they are on your field.
yeah,
But if you want to reduce it, you place those placeables, and if you want to get completely rid of them, you can toggle off them in the menu. Right.
exactly. Yeah,
Perfect.
it normally happens at night, where you don't see it, where you sleep. So, yeah. What else do we have? I already mentioned it a bit. The slurry tools. So first we got here our Fredo VT, actually Fredo Truck VT 7000. So that's the biggest version we got in the game. So self-driving slurry tanker basically, with 3 axles, quite huge. Got a capacity of 32,000 liters. So as you can see here. And we got a slurry injector at the back. And I was already telling you something about the discs they have, which they
Yeah.
are quite famous for. And that's actually the double V disc, they call it. And they cut into the ground quite nicely. With the spring, they also get the pressure up. And then they cut the ground, and the back you can see where the slurry is injected into the ground then afterwards. So also quite nice for grassland to get it really to the roots of the grass. Yeah.
Sounds nice.
So
Want to show us how
yes,
to drive it?
yes, I already filled it up, and we can just lower it. It adjusts nicely to the ground. You also see it here a bit because it's not a completely flat ground here, so it aligns nicely with it. And I also want to show you the GPS that is working nicely with the crab steering mode.
Oh,
So the crab steering normally. So if you look from the front, the vehicle is aligned to the side. Which in reality is for the ground compaction. So
Right.
normally you do this because the vehicle is quite heavy like this. You got 32,000 liters
Yeah.
of slurry, which is quite heavy, and the tool itself is also quite heavy already.
so you want to make sure like the whole vehicle is not driving on one lane. so
Yeah, exactly.
Like the whole weight
So,
is.
yeah. And like this, you see, it uses a wider width, actually. And also the GPS is correctly adjusting to that, so it keeps the tool in the center of the lane here at the back, and yeah, fits then nicely to the GPS lines. And like this, you can inject the slurry into the ground. You can also we got also the Mercedes-Benz pack installed actually, and you also see
alright.
the nice little camera here, so you can see the tool at the back. So also if you lift it up, you can see the state of the tool.
Right.
Which
So
is
if
also
you
nice.
already own the Mercedes-Benz pack, you will have this feature in the Fredo pack
Yeah.
as well, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I also got, yeah, you might already see it, got precision farming installed as well, the free mod from us. And you got also the John Deere manure sensing sensor at the back.
Very
The-
important because a lot of people ask me, is it compatible with
Yeah.
precision
Yeah,
farming?
yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's of course, yeah. But we also got this VT in a different version. So first we got a different distributor at the back. So we got the Bomech, the Multi 4 XL, which is a bit wider. Yeah, drag house distributor. But it would not fit directly onto the VT as on the other VT, because if you look at the tank here, the tank is quite wide. But with this Bomech, you need a lot of space for the folding of the Bomech. So they got a different tank version here, which is a bit slimmer, but it actually got still the same capacity. So how they did it in reality is they added an extension on top, as you can see here, which can be unfolded, and you got like this tarp inside, which is like a tarp that got a slurry below it, and then adjust to the fill level of the tanker. So if you fill it up now,
First thing, you can fill it up like manually, right?
yeah,
As you
yeah,
can
so
see
you
here
can
with the truck.
control
That's
the
an
arm here.
important feature for a lot of people, so you have to show us.
Yeah, yeah. So you fill it up. No,
So you're
Yeah.
able to move like the whole hole, right?
yeah. You move the whole arm into the hole. You don't have to, because some players just don't want it, because it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Also a bit of practice as well to hit it correctly. But if you want, you can do it also from the interior yeah.
Yeah,
you
so
don't
there
really
was
see it,
just the
but,
question, does the
um,
front suction arm work?
yeah.
And will the front suction arm be fully functionable?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah, I can just start the filling and like this it fills up. And I want to show you the tarp here because it behaves quite nicely. We spent some time with that and added like a simplified liquid simulation for that.
Oh, I see.
And you see it that it starts at the front because the vehicle is a bit angled like this because of the slope here. So if I remove the arm here at the front and drive a bit,
Oh.
you see that it moves around, so you really feel that there's liquid inside of the tank.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and it also, now it's at the front, but if I turn the vehicle around, yeah, it gets the back because the orientation of the vehicle is different then. So that looks pretty nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've a few questions regarding like the whole slurry injectors and stuff, all vehicles in general. Will the Fredo tracks be swap bodies for modding capability, or is the tank fixed on it?
The tank is fixed actually. Yeah, Fredo wanted it like this. We could not implement like different extensions for that. That was not wanted. So we got only the slurry extensions
Fair
for
enough. Yeah, I just spit all the questions out now. Would the Fredo pack have a manure spreader configuration, or is it strictly an injector setup?
that. Yeah, it's strictly the injectors. You don't have the menu spreader. Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of people have seen like the tire pressure control system. That is
Yeah.
a visual feature here. Is there any option to use like the tire pressure system or not?
Currently, it's only visually.
Yeah.
Because we implemented because it's quite common on those vehicles because you get the wide tires. If you lower the pressure, you get the pressure that is on the ground even less because you extend like the area of the tire. That makes totally sense in reality. Currently, we don't have a detailed ground simulation of compaction. That would be something for the future for sure. And yeah, that's why we did not implement the tire pressure regulation for now. Maybe it will come in the future. It would be a nice feature actually, but currently it's only visually on those Fredo vehicles. So it's available on all three. So we actually got multiple Fredos. We got like 3 different sizes: the 4000, the 5000, and the 7000. Yeah, with different capacities. Also, some are a bit cheaper, like the 2 smaller ones. So maybe for the start,
Alright.
a bit better.
Yeah, but a good question, a question that was asked quite frequently, and I think that's good feedback for all of us here at Giants. If you guys out there tell us this is something you want to see, then we can have a look into this and
Yeah.
see what the future
Yeah.
will bring. Yeah, according to the blog, so this is a longer question, Fredo slurry injectors don't just restore, they boost yield and crop quality by improving how nutrients get into the soil. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, basically the slurry injectors work like regular manure distributors or slurry distributors. So yeah, it's just like the regular the other ones. So there's nothing special basically about it. In reality, that it's a bit different because in reality you get way more difference between all those different technologies to apply the slurry to the ground. But currently that would be way too complicated for the game to implement it like this. We got here different versions of the Profi, the slurry injectors.
True.
So this is like one of the smallest. And the other one was actually the biggest one, the 80-meter version, but it goes down to 6 meters actually. And here also we got the one tool that is not from Fredo actually, so it's the Evers Agro Discaro with slurry injector or slurry application kit. So you can also directly use Discaro and apply the slurry with this combination. Evers Agro, not a new brand. We introduced it with the Nexart pack
Last year, right?
last year. But like this, you have different ways of applying the slurry. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but also configurations.
It's always important for the people. They want to
Yes.
see the shop section and
Yeah.
see what you can do in the price.
Yeah, so we got here the Profi, the slurry injectors. You got not that many configurations here. You got the support wheels, which are custom-made wheels for those tools. We actually implemented into the game. Pretty simple for them. Then you got the the Everest Toric disc harrow. You got the for overseeders. They got like this one does it not. But here you got the roller type at the back. So you got a flat roller and this packer roller. So just have a visual difference there, but not functionality-wise. Then you got the 3 Fredo trucks, and you got a lot of configurations on them. Of course, the wheel setup. So you got also like the narrow twin wheel setup here, which is quite nice actually. If you apply slurry into cornfields, so if the corn is quite low, you can drive with them into the field, and because of the spacing here from the wheels, the corn rows get in between the wheels, which is quite nice. And that works also quite nice with the Bomech application. Then you got here the slurry arm. So we got slurry arm configurations on all of the trucks. So we got here...
and it will always work like we've seen it.
Yeah, they're a bit different. So the first configuration here on the biggest one is like a simple version. Then you got one version which you can extend even more. So you got like an hydraulic extension. And you got on all 3, you got this hose which you normally use if you get slurry out of underground tanks. So you put
so if you place this like next to the field, you would use this.
Yeah, exactly. But normally you always bring the slurry, especially with the bigger ones, you bring the slurry to the field and then use like those arms to get it out of the slurry tanker.
I think the whole DLC gives a lot of new opportunities to play, like the whole grass feature, like with all the cow features like slurry, and it all fits well in place and together, right?
Yeah. Cool. And here we got the tanker configuration that I was already showing. So we got the slimmer tank here. So here you see really the difference. So
I think
it gets slimmer.
This one is your favorite, right? Because
you
see more.
Yeah, definitely. I spent some time with the liquid simulation on top, but I think it looks quite nice. And this is like the state when it's folded, so you get still below the 3 meters height maybe, or 3 meters 50, I'm not sure. So it's still not that high actually. And you just unfold it on the field and you are a bit lower.
Cool.
So I brought you some more stuff actually.
Oh, cool.
Not only the Fredo pack. It's the Content Update 5 that has been released on Tuesday. So for the people that haven't seen that already, just a small content update actually. But 2 little machines here. We got first the Kramer telehandler, the KT575. Can use it for example to stack bales, like here with the Gewal bale grab. Just a telehandler. And here we got a new sprayer for vineyards. So actually the first time a bigger vineyard sprayer. We only had the Hardy that could do 1 row, but this actually can do multiple rows at the same time. So it's actually 3 rows that are sprayed from the different sides. So the row gets in between here, and then it's sprayed from each side, which is quite nice. Cool. And you can do the spraying a bit faster on your vineyards.
And all of this is for free. It's a content update, so just patch the game and download it for free, and you will find it in your game menu, shop menu, whatever. And I think it's always cool to see like some improvements in different areas, like as you've mentioned, like better tool for spraying on vineyards and stuff. So we always want to make sure that the content updates brings you like new additions to the game for free. So I think that's it for now and for today. Thanks for having you, Stefan, here at our studio, and thanks for showing us the new Fredo pack that will come out on the 24th of March. And I think it's already available to pre-purchase. You get 10% off now. That's it. Thanks, Stefan, again, and I think the last words are for you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I hope everyone enjoys the DLC, the new features that we brought, and also, the vehicles.
Thank you.